Are you envisioning success and victory in your business this year and beyond? Or are you envisioning scariness, struggle, and not making any money for 1 year again? Your body is going to follow where your mind goes every time. Welcome back to another episode of the Elite Business Advice Podcast. My name's Chris Moore, the founder of Elite Business Advisors, your host here for the podcast. I got a couple plugs and housekeeping things I want to hit on here real quick. Number one, don't forget about our 2026 Elite Business Retreat coming up. I haven't shared much about this on the podcast lately. You'll hear about it here for a little bit as we're making a big push to get the final tickets moved for it. It's not coming up until July 22nd through 24th. It's going to take place here in St. Louis, downtown. We have a great couple of days lined up. We have a half-day VIP on Friday that I'm working on getting all the final details for here in the next week or two. But the reason I'm bringing it up is we capped this event at 70 tickets, and we've already got 40 of them sold. And so if you're interested, head to our website, get some information, reach out, let me know, hey, I want to come, even if that means you get your ticket here in a week or two, because I want to make sure I can hold a spot for you. I'm happy to do that here through like mid-March, but we're going to sell out this year, which is exciting. It's awesome, but it's really cool that we're this far ahead, this many months out, 4 almost 5 months out, and we're already more than halfway full for it, which is amazing. So I'm super excited about that. I'm still getting over the stuff from Expo, sorry. I'm also really, really excited that next week is episode 250 of the Elite Business Advice Podcast. It's gratifying, it's humbling, it's amazing to think that this week, when this is coming out, we've released 249 episodes every week, 249 straight weeks. Have not missed a week. I do not plan to. At this point, we're pretty committed, I think you can tell. And so I'm really excited for episode 250 next week. We're shooting to do something special that I'll be working on here the rest of this week in preparation for it. So plug in, don't miss next week's. But with PCA Expo recently being at Disney, a few of the keynote speakers were former people from Disney, executives, different roles, which are really insightful. I wanted to kind of share a few of my key takeaways that I had from being there, from listening to things, from just experiencing Disney. Again, we were, on property at the Swan Dolphin Resort where PCA Expo was. I've been to Disney a couple of different times in a couple of different ways. And I want to just kind of share a few takeaways I had. So call it a case study, if you will, on Disney and how having a Disney mindset can be beneficial in your company. So I hope it helps. Thanks for plugging in. This is the Elite Business Advice Podcast. I got 4 takeaways here from kind of what I took away from the week last week again, or a couple weeks ago now. Hearing some of the speakers, hearing people that used to work for Disney, experiencing the atmosphere. I wanted to kind of share this and boiled it down into kind of 4 common themes that I noticed. And the first one is your culture starts with the lingo you use. And what do I mean by that? So for Disney, everybody is called cast members. They're actually not called employees. They're called cast members. And I saw that even at the resort we stayed at, that everything said cast members only, right? The doors, the certain areas where it was, employee only or employee things, it said cast members only. And one of the guys talked about that. They were called cast members, not employees. And so as you think about the culture in your painting business, I want you to think about the little things that you do with your lingo and what that means for the culture in your company and with your customers, right? It's something that I've thought a lot about. We've talked about this actually at our church, that we've kind of shifted to the lingo of calling people partners of our church instead of members, right? Because there's just like psychologically a little bit of a difference and a shift we wanted to breed there. A lot of people talk about employee and boss role. And I think there's a mentality behind that we need to work on. But how can we shift those terms around? What do you call your employees? I know for us even too, we've always used the term clients, but I've even kind of thought about that, right? Like, does partner make sense there, right? I know some marketing agencies call their clients partners. It's something I've kind of been thinking about too, as we continue to grow and evolve. But what are the little things that you're saying and doing that can shift the culture and the vibe that you're looking for, right? Now, maybe you're not going to call your painters cast members. Probably wouldn't recommend that. Although I will say the one thing that I do like about cast member, and somebody has shared this, is cast member means when you're on the clock, you're always on, right? When you're acting, when you're a cast member in a show, a play, a movie, or whatever. Theater's not my forte, if you will, but when you're a cast member, you're always on, right? When you're acting, you can't be caught off guard. It's like a subtle thing. And so cast member like kind of is fitting for painters, but I don't know that I would really go to that route, right? Not only you have to title it anything crazy, but like how can you call your employees something that is fulfilling and is helpful for your culture and kind of, again, that vibe that you want them to have, right? So that was one theme. Culture starts with, maybe whether it starts or just a big part of it, it plays off of the lingo you use, okay? Second thing, the experience is everything. And what do I mean by that? You can go to any theme park around you, around me, anywhere around, church, carnival, and you can pay too much for food and drinks. You can wait in lines in blistering heat in the middle of summer. But at the end of the day, Six Flags will never be Disney. We have a Six Flags here in St. Louis, and it's the closest thing we have to Disney here in the metro St. Louis area. And no matter what, nothing is going to replicate Disney. And the reason why is because the experience, everything they do at Disney is focused on the guest experience. And if you want to break down the psychology behind why, it's mostly because this is what makes people talk and this is what makes people come back. I know some friends that have like Disney season passes. They live here in St. Louis. They go 3 to 4 times a year, and it's like their favorite thing in the world. They've got young kids, and it's just like that is their family vacations, right? They go to Disney a few times a year and everything. And it's because it's all guest experience. Now, the difference between Six Flags and Disney, it can be the attractions, right? Disney has a lot of really cool things tied in with TV shows and movies and very specific, like the Harry Potter experience, right? And all these different things that are very specific and themed. You also get to meet the characters and Mickey and Minnie and Donald and all the icons. Right? There's so many things about Disney that do make it unique. But at the end of the day, it's all about the guest experience. And people will talk about it. People will continue to come back because of the experience they have. And if I'm being honest with you, Disney is probably the only place in the world that people can dread from a cost point of view, from a, taking the kids and letting them get overstimulated and having too much sugar point of view. Like adults, I don't know how to say this nicely, so I'm just going to say it in the only way that keeps coming to my head. Like, Disney is probably the only place in the world that you can hate and you still keep going back to, right? And I use hate loosely there because sometimes it can be like I saw some parents in our hotel wheeling their kids back, and they looked like they just got back from war. And I'm sure their bank account reflects that they went to war. And at the end of the day, they're still going to go back. Because the experience is everything. The memories that get created with the kids becomes everything, okay? So maybe you're not going to make lifelong memories with your customers. That's okay, right? But what is that experience like for your customers, right? What are the things that they experience in working with your company? And how does this become unique? One of the guys talked about the depth and the detail about the Harry Potter and the wand shop. I think he was responsible for the guest experience with the wand shop at Harry Potter. If you've ever read or seen the movies, you at least have some sort of an idea what I'm talking about. If you've been to Universal Studios and experienced that, it's pretty cool what they did with it. And he really went into detail about this and all the inner workings, and like, you can have an appreciation as a consumer to go experience it and visit it. It's been quite a few years since we were there. But then to hear him talking about it and the thought that went into it and all the different things. And he's like, at any point we had 10 different things that we could do to trigger something in that room. And we had to read our customers and do this. And it was like incredible, right? So again, we may not have that level of craziness, but what does that experience look like? How do we make this memorable? There's 2 books that come to mind that I think of when I think about experience and almost a Disney-like experience. And the first one is called Talk Triggers. Talk Triggers is the name of it. I forget who wrote the book, but they talk about like, how do you put things in place in your business that trigger people to talk about this relentlessly, that almost becomes like self-fulfilling marketing for you because you have such a unique thing, right? And like one of them, and I don't remember the exact details, but I remember the premise was like a restaurant, like, I'm just going to use this kind of as an example because it was something along these lines, but it was like whenever you go there and you go to check out, you roll 3 dice. Again, I'm kind of making this up at this point, but it was something along these lines. You roll 3 dice, and if your 3 dice add up to 19, your meal's free, right? But anything else, you just pay normal price for it, right? Like it was something like that. And it was like, what's something unique that people are like, this is cool. Like, and it gets people talking and it gets people sharing it on social media and like, oh, are we going to roll a 19 and get our meal free? Like, and it just manifests for itself, right? So that's, I think, a great book to think of. And again, I think there's different unique ways you could implement something like that in your business. But again, it needs to be effective, right? So don't just do something random out there that's not going to be helpful, but it'd be something unique, very unique that gets people talking. The second book is called Raving Fans. And I love this book because we want to create raving fans for our businesses. We want our customers, whatever we want to call them, to be so happy with the service that we offer them and the experience they get that they just rave about us naturally. And that is our marketing, right? I see this in action, like every PCA event we go to in this industry. And it's so gratifying and it's so humbling. And so if you're one of our clients and you're listening to this, like, thank you. I appreciate you because while this is my goal, because we want to give you the best value and a great experience in being a client of ours, and like that is a big part of it. But like the raving fans part of it, like we had clients that would have people come up to the trade show and be like, I don't know what you guys are doing, but we've had like 3 or 4 of your customers just in random conversations tell us we need to come talk to you. So I'm coming over here to talk to you guys, and I don't even know why, but clearly you're doing something that's been really helpful for a lot of people. Like that happened multiple times at the trade show, and that like to me was eternally gratifying because we want to give that experience. We want to have that impact, and by coincidence, if we create raving fans from it, fantastic. But it's great for marketing for us. It's great for credibility for us, especially in the line of work and what we do, right? So think about those 2 books to be something I would dive in a little bit deeper if you're looking for some more context on. All right, point number 3, strategic decisions in everything Disney does, okay? There's a level of strategy, like I mentioned, with the wand shop and how they put that experience together. And it goes everything from as detailed as putting a new attraction together and being very strategic in every little thing they do and how they do it, to also thinking through, one of the guys, Louis, shared a story about how when the gates are about to open, and I think it was for the morning. I missed a little bit of the context behind this. I don't know if it was that or if it was like the Magic Kingdom fireworks at night. One of the two. But either way, he said, they do this big buildup and they talk about, when things are going to start and when it's, when the gates are going to open. And he was like, and we release the smell of popcorn. I'm pretty sure it was for the morning because I think he even said nobody's going to eat popcorn at 8 in the morning. But they do it because it's, again, about the experience, but it gets you ready for the show, right? And again, it's all about an experience with Disney. It's all about the day as a whole show, right? Yeah, you get to go experience rides and food and characters and it and stuff. But like they manufacture the smell of popcorn when they know nobody's going to buy popcorn at 8 in the morning because it provides the experience. That's strategy, right? They plan out what are we going to take away and what are we going to add in next and when is the right time to do that when it comes to their attractions and areas and villages and all those things, right? They talked about the music that plays, the smells like the popcorn that come into play, the atmosphere that they're in. And what's interesting is they control what they can control. So my question for you is, do you control the things you can control in your business? Do you control the way that your customers feel when they call your office or when you show up at their house or when your painters are there? Do you control those things? Do we control the smells, right? And obviously paint is going to be paint. So I understand there's a little bit of a different thing there versus having a retail location where people are coming into, but there's still a lot that goes into it with the music that plays, the atmosphere that provides. Does their house look like a bomb went off in it when your crew is there? Or is things at least pretty well nice and organized and just like it's obvious where you're working, but man, everything's nice and tidied up throughout the day and, when they leave at the end of each day? Like, what is that decision that gets made? And again, how strategic are you? Another area I would argue about is with strategy is in your marketing. In your sales approach and process, are you strategic in this? Are you strategic in your employee comp plan? What I mean by that is don't give too much up front. Don't set a wrong precedent. We've been helping some of our clients get a project manager in place here in February, March, and I've been here to answer a lot of questions. And there's been a lot of good questions that have come up like, hey, we've never done this before. I don't know how we should handle this. And I'm like, hey, listen, if you do this, you're just going to shoot yourself in the foot for the rest of forever because of X, Y, and Z. So here's maybe a better way to approach it. Here's the lingo to use with it, but don't set this expectation. And it was something simple like, hey, a project manager stayed late a night or two to help a project get completed. And like, should we pay them extra for it? Do we pay them overtime? Like, it was just a simple question. It's like, here's how to handle that. Here's how we want to like let them know we appreciate them. But like at the end of the day, their job is to get jobs done. And like, so let's walk a happy medium between this, right? Same thing with, when we're creating a comp plan from scratch, it's like, if we can always give them more down the road and give them more bonuses down the road and add things on, but it's really hard to take those things away, right? There's strategy in how we put a comp plan together. So be strategic in what you do. Don't just be the best hip shooter in the Midwest. I just came up with that off the top of my head. Just don't, all right? If you're shooting from the hip all the time, not a great business strategy. Have some strategic thinking behind every little thing you do, especially every little thing your customers go through in the journey with your company. All right. Last one, number 4. Vision is the key to success. I saved the biggest, most impactful, and most in-depth one for last. Vision is the key to success. I heard this story one time. And it was, I don't know who said this part of it, but they said, man, it's a shame that Walt Disney isn't still alive to see everything that Disney World became. And whoever they said it to, they said, are you kidding? Said, him seeing all of this is the reason it exists. Now, going back in time, and I don't know where the timeline falls and when Walt had passed on the journey of all this. Like, I don't have that in front of me. I don't need it in front of me. But the point being is the Disney World that we know today was not what was around when Walt Disney passed away. But his vision, his story, his manifestation is what made it what it is today, right? And so he might not have physically got to see the empire that he built, but he saw it plenty of times. Otherwise, it wouldn't exist. Okay, and I think about that a lot. I think about that a lot with athletes and in the power of envisioning. It's all about muscle memory. I know for golfers, this is true. If you are standing over the ball, I'm a golfer if I haven't shared that or you're new here. I'm a huge golfer. If you're standing over the ball and you were envisioning yourself slicing it into the woods or into the lake or into somebody's home, right? Hitting it way off target. If that's what you're envisioning right before you swing, guess what you're probably going to do? Bingo. Right? If you go up and you envision, man, I'm going to hit this one straight. I'm going to pipe it right down the middle. It's going to be a great shot. And you're envisioning that, your muscles are going to follow through, right? Even if you're not a professional golfer, like there is a lot behind that. And I've noticed that even in my own golf game, without getting off on a tangent, that I play much better when when mentally I'm envisioning like the shots that I'm going to hit and how they're going to go. And I'm like a little bit prepared, right? Versus again, getting up and like, oh man, I hope I don't top this one and it, goes short in the sand, or I hope I don't chunk it. And you're going to do it like 90% of the time. Okay. So there's a lot of power in vision and the role that plays. And so my question for you, as we kind of wrap this up, are you envisioning success and victory in your business this year and beyond? Or are you envisioning scariness and struggle and not making any money for 1 year again? Your body is going to follow where your mind goes every time. So start envisioning success. Leave the negativity behind and visualize your way to a successful year. Thanks for plugging into this week's episode. I hope you're able to take a few nuggets away from it to implement into your business. Remember, knowledge without implementation is useless. If you're curious about what we do and how we help painting contractors all over North America, schedule a free business analysis meeting with us at www.elitebusinessadvisors.com. Our entire team of advisors have ran and managed painting companies just like myself and are here to help support you on your journey. We have packages available for contractors at every stage of business, from flying solo and just starting out, all the way to multi-million-dollar businesses. And lastly, if you loved this episode, please leave us a rating and a review. It helps others on the platform find our podcast, and it could be the best blessing that's ever happened to them thanks to you. Thanks for plugging in, and we'll see you back for next week's episode.